Right, back with an update. Okay, I managed to find an additional Royal sitting on a shelf in the garage at the bottom in the dark, biding its time away. So I decided just to see if I could get anything out of that one as well. The one on the very far left was the one, is the newer one. The one currently right at the back is one that I have now just put on load test. I managed to get all the little globes working. So the current draw is around 1.3 amp, and it's more than likely due to the fact that the node and Pico Solar charge controller is drawing around about 94 milliamp hour, so it's 1.2 plus whatever the node's drawing. Right, so I landed up doing this the lazy way and just sticking a 7 amp hour mains charger onto all of the batteries, because this Pico Solar was not, it probably is capable of doing it, but it was not capable of getting these batteries back up to charge, for the simple reason because the maximum current I'm getting out of them at midday is 1.1 amp. So it probably would have taken about 3 weeks to charge these batteries up. So I decided just to charge them off of the mains charger, which is connected to the main solar anyway, so I'm not using any mains power there anyway. So okay, so my whole idea is to now load test all three of these batteries individually, see what capacity is left inside them, and very hopefully move them over to the Home Assistant setup. The reason for this being is that currently there are 4 18 amp hour AGMs connected to the Home Assistant backup battery setup, which are being charged off of a 260 watt solar panel and PWM solar charge controller. However, when the sun sets, I have Home Assistant switching a relay over based on lux, so that a mains charger connected to the main solar can keep the 4 18 amp hour AGMs happy up until midnight, at which point the automation then switches the relay back off again, and the Home Assistant setup then runs off of the capacity of those 4 18 amp hour AGMs. Currently they only last 8 hours, so the reason for me doing all of these odd tests is to see if I can get either 1, 2 or all 3 of these onto the Home Assistant setup, so that I don't ever have to switch the mains charger back in again. My hopes are that I could get at least 20 amp hour, which would then obviously suffice throughout the entire night without having to resort to using a mains charger to keep Home Assistant alive, which at this point in time I think would be my biggest goal. The 18 amp hours that recovered so well, I actually cannot fathom how 2 18 amp hours that were registering 1 amp, and I mean, if I say 1 amp, I'm talking less. It was probably in the region of about 800 milliamp, 900 milliamp, that these two AGMs had left in them, and by putting them on the Pico Solar for, I think it was a month, 2 months, and just forgetting about them, they really managed to crawl back to being very useful on the cottage emergency lighting. So once these batteries have been load tested, capacities have been established, I am hopefully going to be able to get those 80 AGMs out of Home Assistant, put these in, and then I can start the low and slow solar regen on those 4 as well. But for the meantime, just 3 load tests, see what capacity we got left in the Royals, and I think once the second battery is complete, I will then obviously upload this video and put all the details for the capacities of the 2 for the time being in the description, and you can take it from there. Thanks for watching. Bye. Right, just a quick update. The battery number 4, 04 and 01 were absolutely abysmal. Battery 4, double check that. No, battery 1 landed up having a capacity of 6.683, and battery number 4 landed up having a capacity of only 3 amp. I mean, these are supposed to be 105 amp batteries, but yeah, okay. Nonetheless, battery number 14, it looks like I've never had before. When I say that, I mean I was offered a whole bunch of batteries, test, see which ones are fine, return the rest type of thing, and that was one of the batteries I never ever tested before. So if we have a look here, there's battery number 4. Okay, I'm sorry about the small text. I've had to make all of these images smaller just to get them to fit in better, but you can see the drop off after a couple of hours. So that one I have tested before. Not sure why I landed up keeping that battery though. That should have gone back. Battery number 1, same story, drops off. I caught that just before it obviously went below the 12 volt range, and then I don't seem to see 14 here at all, so I don't think I've ever tested that before. No. Okay, so I cut this one's load test off at 5 past 5 for the simple reason because that's absolutely useless to anybody. So 5 past 5 here, 6.5 amp hour, and this one I cut off at 12 volt, 12.03 volt, which is at 20:49, 10 to 9, and 10 to 9 it was 3,028. The battery number 14 does seem to be resting a lot higher even with a load on it, so I'm really hoping this one will actually perform better than the last 2 pieces of scrap. So needless to say, these 2 batteries are going to land up going to recycling very shortly. Okay, and then okay, this is the new battery that's on test currently. You can see it's plateaued very nicely at the 12.7 mark, and basically what I've done is I have gone a bit overboard, set the amp hour count for 27 amp hours, thinking that it'll never ever get there. Well, the first 2 batteries didn't, so that was a win. This new battery that I got on test, I don't know, we'll have to see. But anyway, I've set it to an abnormally high amp hour count on the Coulomb counter for the simple reason because once it gets down to 0, it's not going to keep counting amp hours. So I've set it well above what I'm assuming I'll be able to get out of it. That way, at least once the test has been run and this battery goes into circulation again, I can then just set this specific number, whatever this is, I think it's 14, battery number 14, to whatever, let's say 15 amp hour, and then obviously the state of charge on the Coulomb counter will be 100% correct. Just in case anybody is wondering why these odd amounts are there. And that's basically it. So I will keep you updated, and hopefully this battery does a better job than the previous two did. Thanks for watching. Bye.